many people just want to get out until April 2nd is, number one, I do think there's a very high probability that a tariff solution happens before the next 3 weeks happens. And it's simple to see because China, Europe, Canada, Mexico, since April 18th, all of those countries have outperformed the US. I don't think that markets are that blind to say if Canada and Mexico are about to have a recession, they should outperform the US. And I think the second thing people should keep in mind is that when you have a global crisis brewing, and we highlighted like the 1962 Cuban Missile Crisis, that was a 12-day crisis, but the markets bottomed 7 days into the crisis. 5 days before that crisis ended, the market was already recovered 2/3 of the losses.
Tom Lee sees a big move emerging here within the next 60 days. And I always have to warn people when I use his clips that, well, Tom's a permabull. I don't think he's ever looked at the market and not thought to himself, a bull run's coming, right? That's just the way he kind of is. But he might be right here. You know, everyone's sitting back, sitting on the sidelines, waiting for April 2nd when those tariffs are supposed to escalate. They want to see how that all plays out. And we could see sweeping trade deals. And if that happens, this space is going to go ballistic. The stock market's going to go crazy, and the crypto space is going to go nuclear. Absolutely could happen. And remember this, with cryptocurrencies, we don't need perfection here. We don't need 12 months, 24 months. We just need 60 days of daylight, nothing more than that. And if we get it, if that traditional bull run emerges here, XRP has the perfect setup. I sure hope we see it. You know, traditionally, April, May, even out to June. We saw last time Ethereum topped in June 2021 for the new all-time high, the first of that cycle. They went on later to set a new high. But if that happens, it's going to be crazy town once again. Only time will tell. Who knows? We see Ripple moves deeper into custody. They file for a Ripple custody trademark. And are they looking to make a big move here, gearing up to try to dominate institutional grade custody? And might they get that contract to hold the Bitcoin reserve? Wouldn't that be a big feather in their cap? And might that bring a lot more business through their door? Only time will tell here. Again, I would expect that to go to Coinbase, but Ripple's got to be a contender, that's for sure. We see after that Ethereum hack, North Korea, they've already converted all of that stolen Ethereum into Bitcoin. And people said that was going to take a year and a half, maybe longer to launder all that money, and they're already done. And now North Korea is the number 3 nation holder of Bitcoin at this point in time. And, you know, people are like, oh, this is bad for Bitcoin or this is bad for crypto. When you have something of value, something of utility, you know, both people you like and maybe people that are your adversaries, they're going to utilize that tool. It's as simple as that. So I don't think it's bad for crypto. It just shows people out there are trying to get as much crypto as they can here. According to Bloomberg, European Central Bank is stating that the U.S. Risk is making a grave mistake through negligence. And what they're saying is, you know what? Financial crises often originate in the United States and spread globally. And by encouraging the development of crypto assets and non-bank finance, the U.S. government is effectively sowing the seeds of future turmoil. You know, I don't think having unregulated markets here is a better scenario. Just letting it be a free-for-all, letting criminals run wild. Like, I don't think bringing in regulations to crypto technology is a problem. Of course, it's going to help this technology spread and grow and be adopted. But it'd be like saying, you know, bad things can come with the internet. Of course it can. We know that happens, and it will happen with crypto too. But ultimately, it's a net positive, and it's good to think rationally about this technology and how we want to integrate it, because there's no stopping progress. It's going to happen either way. Do you want to be a leader, or do you want to be the last of the table here? Now, the SEC is delaying their decisions for XRP, Solana, Litecoin, and Dogecoin ETFs. But, you know, they're not saying no. They're not canceling it. And there's a couple things that are happening, in my opinion, here. They may be waiting for the new SEC chair to go ahead and approve those. They've already done a lot more than I expected before that SEC chair got in his position. Could be very possible there. They may be rolling out some sort of safeguards here, some sort of, you know, guidance for the market. And that would be bullish for Ripple as well, because then that would be something they could take to Judge Torres. So there's a lot of things that could be setting up, but we're going to get, if not all four of these and more, I think we're going to get more, but we're going to get quite a few altcoin ETFs across the finish line this year in 2025 during a bull run. XRP is getting across the finish line too. You best believe that. BNY Mellon, the oldest U.S. bank, is expanding services for Circle, allowing select clients to send and receive funds for USDC transactions. So they're integrating stablecoins into their traditional financial systems, the oldest bank in America. People don't understand what this means. Forget the stablecoin. This is going to let value flow onto blockchains and off of blockchains instantaneously. It's going to be so much easier, so much more liquid, and that's going to rise the value and the reach and the liquidity of all the crypto assets, not just the stable coins. That's the big problem. I'm sitting on a bunch of money here in the real world. How do I get it under the digital era? How do I get, my crypto gains off of the blockchain and into my bank account? This is a game changer, and it's going to continue to happen. And it's much bigger than just stablecoins getting big. It's going to help the whole crypto space, the whole decentralized economy. Now, this was interesting. The Wolf of Wall Street says, 21 shares plans to liquidate its Bitcoin and Ethereum futures ETFs this month. And, there just probably isn't a lot of demand for this futures product. And, I wouldn't be surprised if we see some of these Bitcoin and Ethereum, ETFs, the spot ETFs, if they start falling off too, because, you have Grayscale, you have BlackRock, you have Fidelity. Like, these are the big players here. And it might not make sense for all these other people to have them as well. Especially, futures are probably not going to be as popular now as we have those spot products. So you'll probably see more and more of this. It doesn't mean that these ETFs are failing. It just means, we don't need a bunch of them, or we may not need a bunch of futures specifically, because, again, most of your action is probably going to go on those spot markets here. Van Eck files for AVAX ETF as another altcoin gets ready to go institutional. This follows XRP, Solana, Litecoin, and Doge filings. Bloomberg analysts say there's a high chance of approval later this year as crypto adoption surges. And this is one of the crypto assets I probably don't have enough of. Every time I'm reading a bank or some sort of institution, they're looking at Ethereum and they're looking at AVAX. It's kind of like the other ancillary blockchain they're looking at using, and maybe one that I've been overlooking. So I've been buying a little bit here, nibbling at some more AVAX, but I probably should get more, because something tells me this is going to be one of the winners from this cycle here. Michael Saylor, big tech is going to embrace Bitcoin. They're going to let you hold your Bitcoin on your iPhone, Android phone. It's going to go far beyond that. We are going to see technology companies really integrate this technology stack of blockchain. And not just Bitcoin. That, of course, will have its place. But they're going to be leveraging things like the XRP ledger, the Ethereum blockchain, probably Polkadot. Polkadot was built with that in mind. Silicon Valley Tech, being able to use blockchain. There's a lot of players here, and they're going to use these systems for the tools they were designed, not just, investments, not just something you hold and hope that someone else will buy it for you for more money. This is where we're really going to see onboarding of adoption. It's coming quick. And as soon as we have regulations in this country, it's going to go crazy. And it is. It's going to be built into your computers, your tablets, your cell phones. This is the future. And we are at the cusp of actually seeing adoption take off in a huge way. It already has, but this is going to be like mobile phones, internet businesses. This is the future, along with AI. This is interesting. When we look at, quantum compute is starting to get, kind of like AI. You see Microsoft and Google and China, they're all advancing really, really fast here. And the problem is, as soon as those systems get to a certain point, if they're not already, my buddy Myron thinks they already are, they're going to be able to crack into your accounts, steal your crypto. Now, that probably wouldn't be the first place you would attack. You'd probably go after traditional financial systems and military systems, things like this, but it's a risk at some point in time. And so Bitcoin security expert is arguing that, we're going to have to burn quantum vulnerable Bitcoin, and that's going to be the best way to protect the blockchain's integrity. And if Bitcoin upgrades to quantum resistant cryptography, well, what happens to those untouched wallets? Things like Satoshi. What if Satoshi isn't around? What if he's not alive? What if he can't access his keys to move his stake, his million Bitcoin, into this new system that's now quantum resistant? Well, it's just going to be sitting there for the taking. Do we just let, North Korea hack in there and take 1 million Bitcoin? Is that better off? Like, what do we do? It's something, too, that all blockchains are going to have to look at. As we upgrade and move over to this new system, what do you do for those dormant accounts that haven't accessed their crypto? That's the point. You should be able to just stack it there and leave it. But at some point, we're going to have to make this transition. There's, whales with tons of XRP where the money's just been sitting there for a long, long time. And at some point in time, you're going to have to probably transfer it over or lose it. It's interesting. You think, well, as long as I have my little paper with my keys on there, well, maybe not. Maybe we're going to have to force people to change over to a new system. Otherwise, your stuff going to be stolen anyway. And each blockchain will have to figure out how they're going to deal with it. Maybe they let it just sit there, and if someone steals it, they steal it. Maybe they decide to burn those funds that aren't moved by a certain point. This is going to get more interesting as the years go by, and we're going to have to figure out how we're going to deal with this. And I'm sure different blockchains will have different approaches. John Deaton saying the following: I still believe Flare Networks could be a dark horse winner in this blockchain space. I agree. I don't expect Flare to be setting new all-time highs and going on crazy runs as Ethereum is melting away to nothing. But when this space turns, I think Flare is it's going to dominate here, and it's in a lot of interesting areas. And he's actually quoting Crypto Eddie's post here, talking about chain abstraction, which I love. Flare's getting involved in this because that's going to be the future, right? You don't want to have to worry about bridging and what blockchain you're using. You just want to do your transaction, your trade, your swap, your payment, and you could do that from one wallet, and then that wallet could access the Bitcoin network, the Flare network, the XRP network, and just do whatever you want it to do in one seamless manner. And that's the way really this space needs to look. David Schwartz has talked about this a lot. They don't have a great solution at this point in time, but Flare's working on that problem. Near's working on that problem. Some other really smart people out there, and someone's going to get it right. And that's going to be a game changer for the usability of cryptocurrencies. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.